How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to take a look back at the final between England and Italy. And the last piece of news involves Arsenal because reports are suggesting that another two signings are imminent.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start is England versus Italy, European Championship final. And it's not coming home because once again, England have failed. They've gone one step further and got to that final, and they failed at that hurdle, losing on penalties again. Penalties. Oh my word. Now, let's go right back to the very beginning. The perfect start for England. Luke Shaw, what a superb goal. And what a superb tournament he has had. What a great season he's had. You know, let's be honest about it. And if anything, that was probably the worst thing, although the best thing, if that makes sense. Because what happened then is that instead of England playing on the front foot, being aggressive, being brave, they sat back. And after about 20-25 minutes, I sat there and I was like, we've let them back into the game. Roberto Mancini, you can see that he is a top drawer manager. And he was able to get to grips with the formation change. And he was able to get the Italians to get to grip with it on the pitch. And went in at half time. And I sat there and I was like, we needed half time. We needed it. Because we were allowing them so much of the ball. And although they weren't really cutting us open and just kind of having shots from distance, you looked at it and you said to yourself, you cannot allow another 45 minutes of that. The Italians are too good to allow that to happen and to not get a real big chance within. So I thought, you know what? Second half will come out a little bit more different. We've still got the lead. Let's remember that. We don't have to do anything stupid, but let's be a bit more braver. Let's be a bit more on the front foot. And we didn't. And then the Italians equalised, Bonucci. And they got a stranglehold of the game. And there was a 10-minute spell after that where you felt they could go on and win it. And then it kind of just was a bit like a chess match. And it was very cagey to some respects. First half of extra time, I felt the Italians were better. And then the second half of extra time, I felt the Italians sat back. And I felt that England played more on the front foot. And they played more aggressive. And there was a 10-minute period of the 15 where I felt, why couldn't we do this from the beginning? Why could we not play to this level from the start? You're playing against an aging, backline, albeit an unbelievable backline, but aging. But we just didn't bother. And it was so negative and so boring and so tactically inept. And that's what it was. And that is ultimately the issue that I've always had with Gareth Southgate and why I said from the Scotland game, we won't be bringing it home. Despite how much you think it and despite how much we've done so well to get to where we are, ultimately we fail. Just as ultimately we failed at the World Cup when we lost in the semi-finals to Croatia. We had a very, very favourable pathway to the final there and we failed. And, bar the Germany game in the knockout rounds, we had a very favourable pathway to the final of this. And we've blown it. Massively. We've blown it. And it's as simple as that. And I just feel that it stems from the first 90 to even the extra time. Let's not even think about the penalties for a second. It's in normal time, the normal game, where we've lost this. And it's just one of them again where I'm sitting there thinking, will it ever come home? I think it's permanently relocated somewhere else. And it's just horrific when you think about it. And then we're going to go and get onto the penalties now because this has really wound me up. Now, Gareth Southgate made two substitutes right before the end of extra time with a minute to spare. Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, clearly brought on to take penalties. Now, I don't know about Jadon Sancho. I don't know what his professional penalty taking record is. I don't know if he's had a professional, penalty throughout his career. But let's go with Marcus Rashford. I get it. I understand that one. Marcus Rashford has taken pressure penalties for Manchester United. I can think of one in particular, PSG away, Champions League. Last minute, get a penalty, need to score to go through. Rashford takes it. That is high pressure penalty taking. He's done it for years at Manchester United. Despite the fact he's only 23, he's done it. He knows what he's doing. So no issues at all. But Sancho, I don't get it. And Bukayo Saka, I don't get it. The fact that Bukayo Saka was penalty taker number 5. He's never taken a professional penalty in his career. And you put in penalty taker number 5. I would rather Saka and Sancho went the front 2 than the last 2. You can miss a penalty within the first couple, and normally you get a reprieve. You still get an opportunity to, not really think about your miss because the others have done the job. You look at the Italian second penalty taker. He missed. He's going to wake up this morning not feeling anything about it. He'll be happy. He won't care. But to give 2 high pressure penalties to 2 people, and one in particular that I know has never taken a professional penalty in his career, is just outrageous. Senior players in that team. Take a look in the mirror. At what point were you sitting there and thinking, I can't let a kid go up and take this? European Championship final. Major final for your country. At what point are you sitting there going, no, Bukayo, but go sit down. Go sit down. You're not taking this. This pressure's not on you. I understand that you might have to take one. If it goes into sudden death and everything else, that's fine. But right now, no. And penalty number 5. I'd rather they would have put Harry Kane at number 5 than number 1. Don't give me all this talk about, defenders can't step up and take penalties. Maybe a Luke Shaw, a John Stones, or even a Pickford who was apparently wicked at penalties. The best penalty of the night was by a defender, Harry Maguire. Put your foot through it. Don't do all this little stuttering and running and stopping and everything. Takes your momentum away. Donnarumma is not the goalkeeper you want to do that to. He's a big man. He can literally stand there and not move and say, all right, you do your little fancy stuttering and movement and round the ball and all of that. I'm just going to stand it. I ain't moving. Call your bluff. It's as simple as that. It's like a game of poker. Who shows their hand first? Donnarumma won. And it's as simple as that. And Southgate's got to take the blame for it. Because he's the one who put these on the penalties and he's the one that put them in the positions they are. You can't do that. Bukayo Saka should never be penalty taker number 5. And now he's got to deal with that mentally. For a 19-year-old boy, man, he looked heartbroken. I was heartbroken for him. And it's not just an Arsenal connection. I'm gutted for Sancho. I'm gutted for Rashford. The only thing I don't get with those 2 is the run-up stuff. Just take the penalty. Okay? Just take the penalty. That's just me. I'd rather a player that just walks up, takes the penalty, than all this fancy stuff that you see now. It's great when it works, but when it ain't, come on. No, just take the penalty. But yeah, mentally, Saka's going to have to deal with that. And with all 3 of them, I hope that whenever they go to their respective clubs and they go to rival grounds, throughout the season, that the opposition fans, when their name's read out across the Antanoi or whatever it is, they're given a round of applause. Try and lift their spirits a bit, man. Because that must be absolutely heartbreaking for them this morning, man. Especially Saka, 19 years old, man. And given the 5th penalty. Disastrous. I'm sorry, it really is. It's disastrous. And England are out. And it's not coming home. Next piece of news, and I'm going to keep this brief. It involves Arsenal. And reports are suggesting that there's another 2 signings imminent. Of course, we made the deal for Tavares, the left back. Confirmed a couple of days ago. You may have got, lost in all of the commotion of the final and everything, so you may not have even seen that. But, yep, his signing is official. And reports are suggesting that the deal for Lokonga from Anderlecht is also now imminent, and also Ben White from Brighton. Now, of course, with the Euros finishing, I think the Ben White situation would be, quite easy to resolve now. Apparently, Arsenal have sorted out the, you know, differences in fee and whatever with Brighton. Ben White's, you know, already agreed terms and everything else. So apparently those are the two signings that are imminent, and that's Lokonga and Ben White. Of course, there's been some talk over the weekend of James Maddison, and, you know, very, very strong reports that his camp know about the interest from Arsenal. They've got very good encouragement from Maddison's camp that he wants to leave and go and join Arsenal. Now, it's a case of the clubs working it out in terms of the fee, and if that is the case, Leicester won't be a pushover because they're not in you know, need for money, so they will sit there and hold out for what they believe James Maddison is worth, and it's as simple as that. So yeah, there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.